Unstoppable Real Estate Investors. I'm Rayana Starr with our Friday episode of the Unstoppable Real Estate Investor podcast. And on Fridays, it's all about member spotlighting. And one of our members in my group, the Unstoppable Real Estate Investor, is Naomi. Rachel XO. And Rachel has been in the community for a while and really one of those more visible members. She's active, she's engaged. I love that. And she has graciously agreed to be a guest on the member spotlight. On Wednesdays in my group, we do the top 5 percenters at noon. Those people that have risen to the top of the real estate investment echelons of success and have advice to give. And then on Fridays, it's showing how the up and coming real estate investor is showing that the struggle is real and where people are at in their process, maybe a little coaching if someone's receptive or it's needed. But really, mainly these podcasts are to add value and to build community and for us to all get to know each other better. So I want to, and if you want to join our group, please join my VA Rose. Will probably include the link to the group. We post these recordings in about 100 real estate investment groups. If you're inspired by one of these, please feel free to join our group, the Unstoppable Real Estate Investor. And then on Mondays, we have Mindset and Marketing Mondays with me, Rayana, and Rufus Thibodeau. And I talk about mindset and he talks about marketing. Then we usually give a book recommendation. So there's some nice events happening regularly in our group. Yay, Rachel, you're here. I love it. So let's chat and find out about you. Tell me a little bit about what you were doing before you became a real estate investor. Don't go back from I was born and all that, but more like professionally, what's your background professionally? And then we'll talk about your transition into real estate investing.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you and to your group today, and to everybody that's watching. Thank you so much for joining us. As far as my professional career before this, I used to be in accounting, and I started off like at the basic level. I was data entry, so I just entered stuff. But I quickly realized that I had like a natural understanding of accounting and all that. So I rose very, very, very fast. But whenever you, I guess, promoted in a company, whenever you get promoted, they add more stuff to your plate. And so I quickly just became very unenamored with all my success very, very quickly.
Just because you were starting to feel overloaded
and starting to see that whole, that exchange, the time for money, and starting to see my family, just everybody growing up around me and moving on with having events in their lives. And I just missed everything because I was so, down in
working so hard to move up the corporate ladder.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah,
if you're watching and you're live with us, excuse me for interrupting, sure. Let us know if you can relate to this scenario that Rachel was in. Okay, continue.
Yeah, so that led to just a lot of, I hate doing this, but I would do it every day. I'd go in and do it all over again. But driving to work one day, I heard Than Merrill's ad, which is how a lot of us started in this real estate journey, was getting the education. And to be honest, I've heard his ad since 2008. But I just never thought it was in my wheelhouse. It was never something that I could do until I was a little bit older, 9 years later, hearing the ad again. I thought, I think I'm going to go and see what this is all about. And I find myself here now investing in real estate.
Yeah, so talk about that transition. So you sign up, you get into Fortune Builders, you start doing the education. Tell us a little bit about that journey of the learning process and how you've evolved and where you're at with investing.
Sure. 2019, I attended the 3-day event, and I, like everybody else, I was so motivated. I saw the potential. I was just on fire. I was ignited. I said, I want to do this. This is what my passion is. Signed up for it, and then went to like my first boot camp, and then realized this was like drinking out of a fire hose. It was just so much information, but I also saw the value in it. So I just kind of dug in and started consuming the information, started learning. And I found I would work with coaches like Amy Majuri, which I'm still, going back to her group and learning about raising private money. But working,
Amy was just my guest on
I
Wednesday,
know,
so
I was
it's
just like,
perfect that you were
I
on
know.
this. Yeah.
What's funny is Amy's husband was the person at the 3-day event. So it's just like,
Oh, her husband Sean was your 3-day speaker.
correct. Her
Oh, that's
husband,
so
John. And we heard all about
synchronistic.
Amy, and we heard all about Emma before Emma even got here. But that was very inspiring. I was so grateful that those were the people that, that were the people I ran into when I started into this venture. But yeah, the information was so overwhelming. But on the other side of that too was my fear of getting out in front of people and saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm investing in real estate, and I want everybody to know what I'm doing and see what I'm doing. I was just very afraid that I didn't know enough. So I didn't know what I was talking about. But I ran into Rose Lopez, who is also a guest on your podcast, and we were at Amy's Raising Private Money event here in Chicago, and networked with Rose Lopez a little bit, and then she introduced me to.
It's watching right now. So
Right.
Rose.
Hi, Rose.
And actually, hi, Sevelin Smith just joined us. Joycelyn Bonson, Sumi Yashi, Natalie Vane, Shane, Alma Solis,
Wow. Hi, everybody.
Dale Emerly. Dale, I'm so glad you're here. Kathy Thornburg, Lori Hollis, Rose, my VA is here. Thanks, Rose. Rose Lopez is here. So you've got quite a nice audience. And everyone, I'm just going to tattle on myself. Yeah, my VA, Rose, you'll see her name in here. Rose, I never can say her name right, DeCampo Bondoc. She is a phenomenal VA that supports me in everything I do on social media. In fact, I'm going to tattle on myself. And Rose, I want you to keep doing this from now on, but she just started this today. She's commenting in the comments. When you see comments from me, it's my VA, Rose, commenting for me. So she acts like she's me. She's my little mini me. And so I want to welcome everyone. And also, VAs are very affordable. If you're busy, I mean, it's amazing. You might not feel like you can have a VA, but for $5, $6, $7, $10 an hour, you can get a VA who can take a lot off your plate. Like you're talking about, you got buried in corporate America. So I just wanted to take a little intermission break to welcome everybody who's watching you, because you have quite a little fan base going here. Rose said she's so proud of you. So anyway, keep going, Rachel.
So Rose Lopez led me to Rose DeCampo Bondoc, and Rose DeCampo Bondoc led me to you. And then you just opened up a community of people, which the community has shown up for me today. And I'm so very, very grateful. Thank you so much, everybody who's watching this. But it allowed me to grow outside of my fear. And I felt like the fear was the thing was holding back my growth. And but I'm here today. I'm facing one of my fears, which is going live on Facebook, and I'm talking to everybody, and I don't feel so afraid anymore.
Yeah, it helps when you're doing it with someone, like you're not alone. We're in this together. So
Sure.
talk a little bit about where you're at with investing. Have you done any deals? Have you gotten close? Are you marketing regularly? Talk a little bit about where you're at in your business.
Sure. So my first year, I told you I started diving into the curriculum with Fortune Builders, but it was also my husband was preparing to retire. He had a whole bunch of money that he was going to have to figure out what to do with, and I just felt the timing was so fortuitous because there was Fortune Builders and there were all these resources for me to help my husband move his money instead of sitting in the stock market, but we can deploy it now and invest it in real estate. So we picked up some rentals in Florida, which are.
So you started with rentals, because a lot of people, and it's nice when you have a big chunk of change like that. And that's how I would say you use your own money, but use other people's money when you're doing a rehab, or, a lot of people will start with wholesaling in order to develop capital to either do a rehab or buy a rental. So a lot of people will start with wholesaling and rehabbing, but ultimately where you want to be is developing a passive income portfolio. I can't stress that enough, starting sooner. Even Than Merle said that, him and Paula Sagan said that, like they wish they had started investing in their rental portfolio a lot sooner. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Dan Merrill's group, Fortune Builders, introduced me to a property management group who I was able to just get in with them and discuss a strategy to kind of, I guess, expedite the investment.
Passive income club.
Correct. We picked up our properties there and we're in the process now. We've had it since 2021. We're in the process now of we've already leveraged the appreciation that we've had in that short amount of time. And we're in the process now of deploying it into a multifamily because we want to speed it up even more. So definitely there's a lot going on right now because not only am I working on that, but I'm also working on setting up my first Airbnb.
All right.
I'm diversifying while I'm doing this business, but I'm also opening myself up to help my friends and my family, especially my family. They are my why. So
So when you say diversify, do you mean diversify from long-term rental to short-term rental? How many rentals do you have? Are they single family? So give us the details.
So we have 3 single family homes in Florida. We have one that's going to be an Airbnb here, and we're just kind of tightening up the details on the Airbnb. But we also partnered with another investor partner of ours and picked up a flip in Berwyn, and that didn't sell. That one didn't sell. It sat on the market for a little while, but because of the different classes and the different education that I was exposed to, we just pivoted and put that up for Airbnb. So that's cash flowing very, very well.
Yeah, so a blessing in disguise, huh?
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
you've got an Airbnb rental and you've got on the long-term side.
I've got the long-term side. I'm open to.
What is it? It's just a single family, you said?
It's the 3 single family homes.
3 single family homes. You've got 3 single family homes. You've got a short-term rental. Now, was the Airbnb, the rehab gone bad, or is now are we okay?
It was a rehab. It didn't go bad. I mean,
that didn't sell.
It went well, but it wasn't moving. And I think that might have been the time when things just started to slowly shift. So it was.
You made lemons out of lemonade. You made lemonade out of lemons. Good for you.
I can't stress enough how much the education was just there, and even the coaches were there when I would run into problems, when I would run into hurdles and things that were in my way. Just reach out to the coach. Coach, this is what I'm struggling with. And then,
having someone talk you off the ledge or hold your hand and guide you to, okay, here's what you need to do next.
Right. But yeah,
we coaches come in handy, don't we?
they sure do.
So now what's next?
There's a project that I'm working on with my family. And so that's kind of taking up some of my time, but I'm also leveraging VAs and leveraging other people to build my team out so that I don't have to do all the working pieces of my business. It did take me quite a while to get going, to get off, or to take off, if you will. But I took the time to educate myself thoroughly. I found a place where I was comfortable with the risk that I was taking. And I think the thing that I did learn was my race is my own. I got caught up in watching everybody else, speed up and make all these deals. And I was just like, what am I doing wrong? But I started to not pay attention to what, obviously celebrate and cheer on what everybody else is doing, but not to measure myself against other people.
I am, if you're watching, this is the takeaway right here. This is the gem, the nugget, the diamond right here, what she's saying. In fact, it's funny that you would bring this up because I was just on a call before we met with my pal from Fortune Builders, Ammon Brimhall, and he's developing his own, educational program and system. And we were talking about the niche he wants to fill is not selling people these high ticket, expensive programs and not putting the pressure on to someone who, well, you've got to work to quit your job and do this full time and this and that. And it's more like just educating people one step at a time on the tactical fundamentals, nitty gritty details of really knowing what you're doing and being able to meet someone wherever they're at and not feeling like you've got to be a real estate investor rock star that, even Rose Lopez and I have talked about this. She just wants to acquire a couple of rentals every year. I'm like, then Rose, you don't need to grind away, with a list and grind away calling sellers and stuff. Just start putting it out there and let people bring you the deal, So it's really easy to get shiny object syndrome or comparison itis when you're in this industry and you're connected and you're around a lot of real estate investors. Like, oh, I'm nothing if I'm not acquiring 100 doors this year, and it's you've got to find what it is you want to do. I'm very transparent that I coach people that are much more successful as real estate investors than I am and doing a lot more than I am. Coaching and helping people in their business, that's my jam. That's the thing I love to do. The real estate investing is a side hustle for me. I'm comfortable with that. I don't feel like I have to justify that. I'm not comparing myself to others. I'm finding the areas in real estate that I enjoy playing in. And I love that you started out that way, Rachel. You started out that way, like, we have money. Let's get rentals and get income coming in right now. Wow, rehab's not selling. Let's turn in Airbnb. Man, it's cash cow now. I love that. So what's the project you're working on with your family?
It is, so we're going back home. It is our family home, and it is right now.
Where is that?
Back home in Samoa, in American Samoa.
Ah.
All of us kids, we're all grown up now, and it's just my mom left. So we want to make a place for her to go back home to, and for us to be able to go back home to as well. And because of the things that I've learned in this group, in this community, I can't wait. I can't wait to go back home and just take
Are
everything.
you talking about a project on the original house of your family and renovating it and making it a nice home for your mom, but a big enough home for everyone to gather at?
Absolutely. Well, the plot that we're on, it happens to be located on an area where there's the commercial value of that location is just phenomenal. So we're looking to do something there, but behind that piece, we can probably build a house for mom and go there and visit her when she's back home.
Awesome. What a fun project. How
Yeah.
far into it? Like, how big is that parcel? And is that been a piece of land your family's owned for a while?
Yes. It's been in the family for about 3 generations now that I'm aware of.
Wow.
And right now we're still in the planning stages, discussing stages. We don't know exactly what structure we want to put there, but that's what I'm going to be leveraging our community.
Yeah, there's
for.
opportunity there for you guys if it's zoned in commercial. And, and I don't know what the laws are in Samoa, but if it's zoned in commercial, you guys could be building some businesses on there that generate income for you. It's kind of doing some research in that market to see, is it storage units? Is it an office complex? What are you guys thinking?
Right now, like I said, we've thrown some things in the air, commercial, like a mixed use type of structure, just because there's also a rental market there as well. So
Yeah,
there's the
lots of opportunity. How big is
opportunity.
it? How big's the lot?
I'm not exactly sure. I know that it's maybe a half acre, but I don't have those details right now. So that's kind of the process.
Yeah, you're in the research and idea
All those
stage. Yeah.
specifics.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Awesome. So what's been the biggest challenge for you in your journey as an investor?
The challenge, I guess, has been networking, reaching out to people. You mentioned Sevelin and several others that I've recently connected with on this, but that's been my challenge is, why would anybody want to connect with me? Why would they take anything, that I say seriously? Because I didn't feel legitimate in this venture, in this real estate. But I also came to realize that my self-talk was preventing me, my own negative self-talk. Like before I even tried anything, I was telling myself that nobody's going to want to hear it. But since then I've removed that from my little.
Yeah, and you've been doing great showing up in my group and connecting with people. And what have you found? The case to actually be in reality as you reach out and connect with people.
Correct.
What have you found?
It was the connections and the link to so many resources. It's true. You can't do this business alone. You cannot do everything by yourself. It's so much easier and it goes so much faster when you leverage and you connect with people that can help you along your journey.
I wonder, and I love and I appreciate that, right? Like right now, you are overcoming a fear of just being live, of speaking, and you're doing a great job, by the way. And please put in the chat if you're getting value out of this conversation. Let's pump Rachel up and encourage her. So you went from having a fear of networking. How do you feel now about that? Now that you've faced that fear and you're out there connecting with people, what has that been like for you on a mindset point of view? Like, yeah, you've connected with resources. You see that you can't do this business alone, but just from an internal mindset point of view, what has that done for you personally as a person?
Personally, it's definitely allowed me to stop, to come out of myself, if you will. Like a lot of times we spend a lot of time within ourselves having conversations with ourselves, telling us ourselves, more or less reinforcing those limiting beliefs. That was one of Rose Bondok's. We need to get rid of your limiting beliefs.
Yeah, Rose and I have been together for, I don't know, Rose, how long has it been? About 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. And we've worked a lot on that together, and talk a lot about that, the limiting beliefs. And I'm certified in NLP, so it's working with people. And I really consider myself not a real estate coach. I'm more of a mindset and business and accountability coach. And I find that a lot of my coaching is predominantly mindset. It's helping people shift their mindsets, helping them overcome fear, limiting beliefs. So good for you. I wonder, Rachel, you're just, the chat's blowing up. People are just so engaged. I feel the same way. Thank you for putting it out there. Yes, I want to connect with you. You're awesome. Love it. Yes, connection. She's the bomb. So people are just really connecting with you, Rachel, and relating to what you're saying. And I think when people take the risk to be vulnerable and real, put yourself out there and not have it together, be perfect, that actually people connect with you more when you're real. Respond in the comments if you agree with what I'm saying, everybody, and that you're just emulating that so beautifully and so gracefully right now. So I want to thank you.
No, thank you. But yeah, just to finish answering your question, I think, or commenting on what you were asking, I think the thing that I'm especially gonna be more aware of, cognizant of, is when I go to these networking events, I'm no longer gonna be inside myself, but I'm gonna look for those people that are in the corner. I'm gonna look for them, and I'm gonna go and seek them out and pull them into conversations. I'm also gonna put myself out there and go out there and have conversations with people. So yeah, I'm ready.
You'll have to come back to this and look at the comments, because there's a lot of people that want to connect with you now.
Oh, well, I can't wait to connect with all of you.
Yeah, so that'll make it easy. So just wondering, if you had a captive audience, you were standing up on a rooftop, and you could just share one thing that would really get in and have an impact and make a difference for people, what would your rooftop message be?
My rooftop message would be, take inventory of your self-talk. Anything that you try to attempt, whatever it is. For me, it was real estate. For you, it might be something else. But your self-talk, you might not know it, but it does influence what you do and your actions more than you know.
Absolutely. Man, I didn't even pay her to say this, because that's my shtick. Take action, no excuses, just results. And that is so, really love that advice, Rachel, because that is the biggest thing I probably coach people on, is that. And that's where NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, can help people. It's helping you really address those issues once and for all, never to return again. In fact, to say something about that, I had a friend of mine that went to the master level of NLP, and we did a breakthrough session, which is intense. It's a lot of NLP work in a concentrated couple of days. Like, you're really like going deep on all kinds of stuff. And we worked on an area of career. I was making a transition. I was getting laid off from Fortune Builders. This was a couple years ago. And I was starting my own coaching business again. And I thought this would be a good area. And I had this limiting belief that I had to work hard. I had to grind. And I did at Fortune Builders. I was just a little coaching machine. And I look today, the last couple of weeks, I've been packing the days. They've been packed and busy, and it's stressful to me. And I realized, nope, that's what ruined my health before. I can't do that. I'm not built for that. I'm not doing that. And I had called this friend who was my old boss, who did the NLP training with me, who did this breakthrough session with me. And I said, I want to let you know that that really stuck. I'm not capable of grinding, of chasing, of making it happen, of forcing something. I'm just not capable of that anymore. Like, that's how effective NLP and deep mindset coaching can be, because it's not about putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg. You did it internally. You were able to self-regulate, and you had the awareness and went, I'm not letting this stop me, because everything is impacted by mindset, everything.
Right.
And it prevents you from taking action. Fear is an illusion. Limiting beliefs is programming that you didn't even have a say in, that programmed you to believe something about yourself or life that isn't true. So, you make some really powerful points that a lot of people are relating to deeply here. So I want to thank you so much for that. And just thank you so much for being such a graceful, lovely guest and making us end the week on such a high note, Rachel. Thank you so much, honey.
Thank
Appreciate
you, Diana. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to read all your comments.
Yeah, you'll love them. You'll feel the love. All right, everyone. This is our episode for Member Spotlight on Unstoppable Real Estate Investor. Thank you, everyone. Take action, no excuses, just results. We'll see you on Monday for Mindset and Marketing Monday with me and Rufus at 6 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.